Can you guys take a walk in the woods on the weekend by not thinking about anything else? Or what happens when you walk in a wood?
Well, actually, it's a good point because there is another, I mean, in addition to your web place, there's also a forum where researchers exchange ideas. And there are lots of ideas that actually come from these walks in the woods.
Right.
So.
That's a good practice. Vincent asked me if he was going too deep into the technical stuff here, but I told him that he made me feel like a tree. So we have some time for some questions in the auditorium. We're moving for a coffee break. I don't know if you feel like that, but it's going to be a half an hour from now. Question over there.
Yeah, I was wondering, you talked about communication before. I work with sort of sourcing materials and things, and sometimes with the new materials, it's hard to sort of talk about something. I mean, this is not paper, and this is not. When you describe to someone who's not initiated, what do you say? What do you call your materials?
What do you call your materials? Issue about communication. Any advice there?
Well, I think the term nanopaper is a good example. I mean, similar materials had been made before. What we did was that we made a material which was better than the previous materials by small improvements in many different things. And then we used the term nanopaper, and suddenly we were communicating with the whole world. And before that, there was not much happening. So I think the question is a very important one. So, and I guess the answer is from case to case, you need to find a good term.
I think also the important thing is to show what it can be used for. So if you have a concrete example of what you can use the material for, it's also a way of communicating it. That's why I tried to show, for instance, this glove and this filtration system that you can use with this porous material. Doesn't matter if we call it the glycosyntase technology, we don't care about it, it's what you can use it for. And it's another way of communicating the potential of the science for the applications, I think.
You have to let Peter Silvan in here, the communicator.
No, I just wanted to know, what is the reaction from the Swedish pulp and paper industry to your research?
Well, the research in biomime and some of the pictures that I showed, I think this is going perhaps too much at the moment for the forest industry towards high added value products. This is perhaps in the mentality a bit too risky right now for the forest industry. We are looking here not at thousands and thousands or hundreds of tons or whatever of material. When I present this microcapillary, if you're going to use this for microsurgery, you can afford to pay the price because, of course, you're not going to write on this material. We're not talking about paper. And I think that the forest industry here has a potential with these materials to go towards these higher added value products. But the move is not quite there yet, and it would be nice to see this move for us because I think there's probably something that we're missing at the moment in this context, given the strength of the forest industry in Sweden.
But I think there is one exception, which is the microfibrillated cellulose that Tom is working with in his group. Maybe you could even comment what the forest industry is saying at the moment.
There are a couple of companies trying to exploit, the nanofoam, to call it, and there are also big companies trying to commercialize microfibrillated cellulose for various purposes. So it's right on the spot, so to say.
Yes.
I can only talk for those two.
Yeah.
Okay. One question.
I'm thinking about the recycling. Do you also investigate on how you will recycle all this nano paper or nanofiber?
I think one of the main ideas with cellulose is that nature has already an army of enzymes that can very quickly degrade cellulose. So I think perhaps in that case the route should be to make use of that. But the recycling is it's certainly possible, but it's fraught with some difficulties as well.
We don't have right now the projects that are based on how to recycle it because we know that this is natural material that we can break down with resources that are already available in the nature. So we're trying to construct something that can have interesting properties for the materials And we know we can already recycle this because it's made of natural fibers, which are themselves naturally recycled in the forest, in nature. So we know that this is possible.
Okay, we have Annika Holmberg here, former secretary in the government.
Do you meet any kind of resistance towards your new ideas or new findings? I mean, we have talked a lot about opportunities here, but are there also interests who more see this like a threat? Do you meet, or is everyone excited about your findings?
It's here that's, I would say, where communication comes into action. It's how we can communicate the potential of these products. And then, of course, we also need the resources to be able to develop this strategic research. And sometimes we're asked to go too fast towards pure applications. And what people have to keep in mind is that you can't develop these products if you don't have a strong fundamental research. And I think this is a key. The set technology with the surface modification I presented, this is all based on fundamental research. It's how the plant cell wall grows that we turn then into something which is a biotechnological process. So I think sometimes we're asked to go too fast towards the applications without having enough support to link the fundamental research to the applications. And I think this is a key that maybe
But Vincent, isn't it also a problem that the forest industry has made enormous investments in old technology, if I may say so?
Right.
And what you is doing is actually challenging that.
Yes.
Isn't that one of the major problems here?
It is one of the problems, of course.
So it's not only communication, it's also
No, it's
money.
not only communication.
Yeah, I just want to add that because I think sometimes we don't see it, but it's there all the time.
But I think from the forest industry's point of view, there's no conflict. Those things are complementary. And I mean, there's severe challenges now that this industry is meeting. So I think let's say the climate for new products, new materials is much better today than it was, let's say, 6-7 years ago when we started this.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
We're stealing time from the next speaker, but it's
I
so
thought it was a very
it's great.
important
We start to cook. Last question from Karin. Quick one.
Get back to the language and the request of paper. I was interested in when you show the nano paper where the man-binding, which is very strong. And then I wonder how you use paper. Is it because like it looks like paper, or is it because the material properties are paper, or is it because of the possible use as paper, or is it more if paper become building material? Because I mean, it would be interesting if paper also replaces, let's say, brick and mortar. But I don't know. So that is again the communication, the language aspect. Why do you call it paper?
Because it has a network structure. It's a fibrous network structure.
So it is a material property that
Yes.
makes it paper. Okay, that's
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Now we have next speaker online. Are you online, Michael? How's it going? Let me check that. This is Mr. Mike Dobry.